The light shining through the windows is swallowed whole by the darkness, as if to say our time together never actually existed. We saw it, though. Together we watched the light crack open the darkness. I'm begging you, please remember. Please find yourself. Please, Giselle. Don't let the things you felt, the warmth that fell over us, remain lost to you.
I might have seen it. Seen that most beautiful light.
Giselle.
But are these truly my memories? Could they not be someone else's tale, like all the others we have seen so far? She was so bright and energetic, and I am neither of those. Besides, the maid needs not a tale of her own.
This is not a story. These are memories. Mine and your memories. No one else's. It was all very much real, as were the kinder, happier days that came next.
Kinder, happier days. Those words create a strange warmness within my chest, but at the same time they make me indescribably anxious. Is there really happiness to be found down that road?
Even if our past doesn't lead to happiness, it couldn't be worse than where we are now. Come, Giselle, to the spring that made us more than just strangers. Fuck, what a line. Oh my god.
Master! Come on, get up! Up with you! Master!
What?
See, what did I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light.
Morning.
Wait a sec! Don't you hide under your bedspread! Get out of there!
I'm fine. What's she even doing in here?
Oh, but Master, you agreed that I could open the windows.
I did, yes.
Don't worry, I've put the curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Mornings take the best parts of being outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours.
What beautiful colors this scene is flushed with, by the way. I claimed earlier that orange was kind of a meh color, but in conjunction with other things like this, like these blues and greens, cyans, it creates quite a mood. This song! Oh. Fuck, man.
You don't have to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. The joyous songs of the birds, the swaying of the trees, the rustling of the leaves. Am I being as pushy as I feel right now?
Kind of. But you wouldn't be you if you weren't, so for now, I won't get on you about it. Also, now that I know your real intentions, no, never mind.
I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were.
What did you think of me?
Oh, let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel, heartless and incomprehensible. But I'm beginning to get a better idea. You try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but can be surprisingly playful. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality, too.
There's not a single good trait on that list.
Now, hear me out here. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk, and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice, too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house, so we've got plenty of time to add more to the list. And I hope you can make your own list about me, too. This is just the beginning, after all. We've got a long, long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Let's not waste any time, then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to do before? Where should we begin? Oh, I know! We can get this place cleaned up!
You want to clean?
Now that there's some actual light in here, we can see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust. All over the place.
My vision was still slightly unfocused, having not completely escaped from Morpheus's embrace, but I could see well enough to catch her smiling brightly. That was the first time I had gotten a good look at her in the light. I could see facial features I had missed during yesterday's commotion, and those glittering eyes. Not even a trace of the tribulation she had endured tainted her pure jade eyes. She's surprisingly good-looking. I am clearly not myself right now.
Is something the matter, Master?
Just look at her eyes, man. Absolutely radiant. You can get lost in those fucking eyes.
I know. You're still half asleep, aren't you? I guess I'm just gonna have to throw my best bucket of water on you.
What is a best bucket of water? I'm awake.
Is there something on my face, then?
Just far too amusing a sight to wake up to.
Amusing? Oh, just get out of bed already.
What a noisy morning. Scene ended at the same time as the song. Perfect. Except not really. Now it's starting again. Well, I thought it was going to cut to a different scene and play a different song or cut out, and, it's one of those things where it loops right before cutting out, but no, it's still going, so that's okay. It was perfectly timed then. I got my first decent look at Michelle's face under the light that morning, watching him stifle a yawn as he crawled out of bed. All the little details I hadn't been able to pick up on in the darkness, his expressions, mannerisms, and the way he looked at me. I could see facial features I had missed during yesterday's commotion, and those vivid, all-consuming red eyes. Like, come on. Soulmates, right?
I was probably, almost certainly making a really dumb face at him.
Oh, look at him. He does look so much different in the light. You can tell in the light also that you can make out his figure a bit more clearly and see that he is quite thin.
Is it just me, or is he kind of, very pretty? How could I have not have noticed until now? Oh, jeez. Oh, I can't look him in the eyes. Yes? What can I do for you?
Is there something on my face?
What? No. Hair monster!
Excuse me?
No, your hair, it's really long. Yes, that's it. Way too long.
Oh, is that any way for a servant to speak to her master?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I don't have any interest in holding your status against you anymore. His fucking creepy-ass smile. Love it.
I see. It's really hard to tell if he's joking or not.
So, about that cleaning. May I wash my face first?
What? You're going to help?
As I just said, I'm not going to act like I'm superior to you anymore. What are you snickering about?
I can't help it. I'm happy.
If my hair really does bother you, you can cut it.
Huh? I can cut it? Of course. I'll give you the best haircut you ever had. Oh, but I should warn you, you'll want to stay perfectly still. I'm a monster with a pair of scissors. My sister always said you were as likely to lose an ear as you were hair whenever I cut it.
You stay away from me! I was shocked at how much more comfortable I felt around her only one day following our opening up to each other. Maybe this was normal, and I had simply never felt it before. I didn't know. I had thought it would take years of work to get close enough to someone to be able to hold a conversation without picking apart every little detail. But here I was, a day later, already there. Was that how it usually worked? Did people normally get close and draw apart so freely? I didn't find it unpleasant to have someone else around. It was a strange feeling. All that friction had dissipated in an instant, and it was like we had known each other for years. Though not entirely willingly, we began sharing meals, something I had always done by myself.
Hey, I see you shoving aside that parsnip. You need to eat everything.
Do you have any idea why there was so much rotting parsnip in the cellar? I don't care for it.
You could at least pretend to be ashamed. Sheesh, you're not a kid, so don't be so picky. It's not good for you.
Hasn't caused any problems thus far.
It will soon enough. I can't believe you. We have limited supplies, and you won't eat your vegetables? Ooh, question. I've got an idea.
Go on.
Is the list of supplies sent by your family set in stone?
Meaning?
I was just wondering if it was possible to make requests. If I could, I would just go out on a shopping trip.
Perish the thought. The only village around here is the one you came from.
Right. Say, are you saying that out of concern for...
Who would ever be concerned about you? I just want to be able to sleep well at night, and I'm not interested in throwing more servants to the lions.
You know, you're a whole lot simpler of a person than I first thought.
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, nothing.
Back to your question about the delivery, yes you can. I haven't made any requests recently, but you can write what you want on a sheet of parchment. Or if we don't have any, something similar, put it in a box and leave it outside. As long as your request is not completely unreasonable, it should arrive with the next package. Why, is there something you need?
Yeah, I was hoping to increase our selection of vegetables. And while I'm at it, if possible... Actually, that's a secret.
A secret?
It's nothing too exciting. I'll tell you when the time is right.
Cutie patooties. Are we gonna do the montage now? Oh, no. Sorry, I should stop saying these things in advance.
My relationship with Michelle gradually transitioned from master and servant to something closer to friends. He was still my master, but he allowed me almost complete freedom. And he didn't order me around either. He even gave me a hand with my work. Though he was still not very talkative and oftentimes hard to read, he at least seemed to be making an effort to close the gap. He would on occasion tell me about himself, though not in much detail, and any time his family came up, he grimaced uncomfortably. Apparently his father had wanted him dead. His brothers, though, had worked to create a scenario in which he could live, faking his death and sending him to this remote mansion. I had never encountered Michel's brothers while at his family's estate, but assuming he was right and it was one of them who had given me that letter, they were likely our only allies in that house. I don't know what he's thinking. It's been 10 years, Michel had muttered. To which I replied, have faith. It was better to believe in something, even if it felt silly and unreasonable, than to lose faith in everything. My being able to find renewed belief in the kindness of people was what allowed me to start smiling again, after all. Because I was able to have that faith, I was able to enjoy life once more. It wasn't an exciting or thrilling life. It was a humble, simple one with just the two of us. But I wouldn't trade that light for anything. Some people might think it dull or dreary, but it was ours. Master, I really truly appreciate that you want to help with the cooking. I do, honestly, but... This is apocalyptic. This is mutinous. This is an affront to gastronomy. This is unearthly disgusting.
Get me better ingredients.
What?
I am not a bad cook. These are simply bad ingredients. If they were better, they could taste just fine boiled. And it's not as bad as you claim, besides.
You make a mockery of the culinary arts!
I've been eating this for years. I don't see the problem.
I've heard quite enough, Master. It sounds like I'm gonna need to put your taste buds through some intense rehabilitation. I have to teach him what real food tastes like. Otherwise, he won't be able to appreciate it if I make him something really good.
Here's your, just a little bit over 100 books. Untrue. I assume, because these new backgrounds are all drawn for this release of the game, not the original, so I'm just assuming that... Did I already mention that? I'm just assuming they drew this background without remembering that particular line.
Hold the chair steady for me, will you? I'm gonna wipe down the top shelf.
I can handle it. I'm tall enough to reach without standing on a chair.
It's not as simple as just running a rag over it. Oh, the wink!
I forgot about the wink. So cute.
I've got practice, so let me take care of it, alright? There's a lot more dust than I expected. I probably should have used something to cover my mouth. You're gonna want to hold your breath for this, Master. Alright, here goes!
She's quite practiced. Is there any need for me to be holding the chair?
Huh? What? Whoa! Hold the chair! Ow! I'm so sorry. I didn't think there would be that much dust. Thank you for holding the Master. Your hand is...
What?
Your hand is, it's on my chest.
No, it was an accident.
You're right, it was. It's fine, really. It was my fault anyway. It's completely, totally fine.
I can't even look her in the eyes. Could this be any more painfully awkward?
So don't worry about it, Master. Honestly, I should be apologizing for subjecting you to that.
That's easier said than done. I have to do something about this stifling awkwardness. For one, it was only for a moment. I barely even realized what it was. But that's not the issue. I need some clever way to brush all this aside. Something witty that tells her I'm not bothered at all. I'm not concerned. In fact, I see no reason to be concerned at all. It felt like I was squeezing an obese rat. I hardly even perceived it as a breast.
So you burp in my face, and then an obese rat. An obese rat.
What?
How utterly insensitive can you be? I'm gonna rip every last hair off your head! Ah! Leave my hair out of this!
Oh, man.
Say, Master, what did you do all this time all by yourself?
That's an exceedingly vague question.
Say when you were really, really stupidly bored out of your mind, what did you do to keep yourself occupied?
Meditate.
Just how many times have you reached enlightenment?
They would not have heard of Buddhism. I sometimes played chess, too.
Chess? Wait, by yourself?
Yes. I imagine how an opponent might react to my moves and play the other side that way.
That's kind of depressing to think about. How about this, Master? Play a game against me.
Do you know the rules?
You bet I do. I do come from a family of merchants, so I keep up with trends. And know all sorts of games.
Oh-ho.
Prepare to meet your maker.
So, who was I supposed to prepare to meet again?
Come on, have a little mercy. You trounced me. One more time. I just wasn't at the top of my game.
When am I going to meet this maker?
What? How? When did you put me in checkmate? One more. Hold on, that's not fair. Take it back. Ah, my king. Please stop.
Amateur.
Can you go just a little bit easy?
You never asked me to go easy.
This isn't a game, this is slaughter. This is a one-sided massacre.
About this maker.
I'm looking right at him.
That was actually kind of fun.
No, it wasn't. It was miserable. Next time we're playing something fair.
Such as?
Let's see. Oh, I know. Arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling?
Yeah. You sit across from each other, put your elbow on the table, grab hands, and see who can pin the other down.
Who would ever willingly participate in such a primitive competition?
Not interested then? Or are you afraid you might lose?
All right then. I can't imagine losing to a woman.
Okay, elbow on the table. Start on my count. Ready, go! Victory!
This is the best. One of the best moments in this whole game, man.
Oh.
Look at them all. The backgrounds in this release are so beautiful. I think the only problem with this release, aside from the book background, is the CGs are cropped, and I didn't realize that at first. I knew the original was 4:3, but it never occurred to me that they would have had to crop the CGs to fit the widescreen aspect ratio. It's a bit of a shame, but I understand why they did it. Because I thought, like, looking at the first maid white-haired girl CG with the rose, I was like, the maid's head looks
like weirdly cut off and it doesn't look very good, but it's supposed to be that way. I guess it's intentional for whatever reason, but no, yeah, it's cropped. A shame.
With each passing day, it grew less and less unusual having Giselle always at my side. I began more freely engaging in silliness, speaking my mind and showing emotion. I could say her name, and Giselle would turn around and smile at me, an unimaginable sight not long ago. For 10 years I had lived alone. Solitude had been my normal, but that was very rapidly changing at her hands. We were continually getting closer, yes, but not in a romantic sense. If I had to describe it, I would say good friends was probably the most apt. Time continued to press on, our relationship remaining relatively stable. Eventually, summer came, bringing with it the longest periods of sunlight I had experienced in many years. Then the leaves began falling from the trees, and before long the world grew cold and dreary. That winter, the fireplace was never without a crackling blaze in its belly. The boiled wine we drank was undoubtedly middling and cheap. Is it anything but not at any time? Whatever. But she said with a smile, "I've never had wine this good before." And though I didn't say anything, I felt the same way. The sun set much earlier, and having stopped using candles, we found ourselves habitually gathering around the fireplace when it grew dark. Yeah, good friends, sure, buddy. Whenever you have to say good friends about defending your relationship with a woman, feeling you need to defend it and be like, no, it's not romantic, we're good friends. You know, there's something there.
Reading a story by the fireplace like this almost makes me feel like we're in another world, doesn't it, Master?
What a beautiful. Cropped, though, I believe. I don't believe this is a new art for this release. The only one I know of off the top of my head is the Nelly hugging Mel in the beginning is new for this.
I bet that's why troubadours perform at pubs, so they can be near the fire.
Or because there's ale. Better than wine. Drunkenness makes even bad singing and storytelling pleasant to the ears. Drunkenness makes even bad singing and storytelling pleasant to the ears.
Oh, you're such a cynic. But that's okay. Say.
Yes?
Do you remember when I first arrived here? When I was cleaning the library?
Please don't tell me you're bringing up the obese rat incident again. Had to rewrite that line because I had said it wrong.
No, not that. Before that. Before we could actually talk to each other. I believe I suggested we read something together if you ever felt the inclination.
You might have. I can't say I remember.
Are you sure about that? You turned down my proposal, saying I was wasting my time. But look, it actually happened. Even if you don't remember, I'm sure you never thought this moment would come. I was, for the most part, focused on making sure things didn't get any worse between us. But to be honest, I didn't expect there would ever actually come a time we would sit shoulder to shoulder and read a book. You never know how things might pan out.
That is so true. Several periods of my life I had envisioned the future, and I was like, I can't possibly imagine what would happen. I have it so easy right now, it's got to be way harder, way worse. What's going to happen? I'm scared. But then you live it out and you're like, it's better. It's better than what happened before. I actually do remember. I remember how I tried to push her away, how much I mistreated her. I was nothing but hostile toward her. People change, and perhaps if they can, so can the future. Maybe I can hope that like our friendship, there's a chance the future might take a turn for the better.
Is something the matter?
I don't much care for hypotheticals, but if by some chance I were someday to be able to return to that house, should that time come, that house is home to her nightmares. Even if it didn't happen until my father was gone, it wouldn't erase what he had done to her there. She acts like nothing's wrong, though. I don't know. Have her wounds healed, or do they still remain? Should that time come? Should that time come, if that day comes, I will do what I can to ensure you have a comfortable life in the city. Though I will not be able to inherit the estate, I can work something out.
I see. Thank you very much.
But if you would be comfortable doing so, I would be pleased if you were to join me. I mean as a servant.
As a servant?
Yes, a servant. We're, short on hands.
I see. A servant.
Do I really need to repeat myself? Yes, as a servant.
All right, sure. I think I will. I would like to accompany you, Master. How exciting. I'm sure a wonderful future awaits us.
I pray so.
Now, back to the story. I believe we had just gotten to the point where the knight set out to defeat the monster and save the princess. I bet he was a big, buff, muscular knight.
Let's not talk about how muscular he was. She let out a gentle laugh, and I thought I smelled something sweet on her breath. Was it her scent, or perhaps just my imagination? I had no way of knowing. We sat so close, even the slightest shift seemed sufficient to allow me to hear the sound of her heartbeat, causing mine to accelerate. Curiosities flooded my mind. What might she be thinking right now? What does she think about me? And as much as I tried to banish them, I frustratingly failed. I was just getting caught up in the moment. I had just briefly lost my way, though I tried to convince myself otherwise. It was all in vain. When had my pulse gotten so rapid? When had my skin gotten so flushed? When, how, why was this happening to me? I thought I had already learned my lesson about having feelings for someone else. Before long, winter retreated and our second spring came to take its place. A full year had passed since we resumed living together, and I don't think it was my imagination that this year felt much warmer than the last. Spring seemed to have arrived a bit earlier than in previous years. One night, when the breeze carried on it a pleasant residual warmth, Giselle escorted me out to the garden. Day for night.
Come on, Master, hurry up.
It's the middle of the night. What's so important?
I just found it myself, and I couldn't wait until morning.
Huh?
A rose! It blossomed!
A rose? Giselle had, over the past year, cleaned up the nest of weeds that had been strangling the garden. Off to the side of a small plot of turned soil, swaying in the wind beneath the moonlight, was a single red rose. When did you...
Last year I requested flower seeds. but I just couldn't get them to grow, and I was starting to think they never would. But look, it's only one, but it did.
I had no idea.
Of course you didn't. I didn't tell you.
Why would you keep it from me?
I wanted to make it a gift for you, Master.
What? Why?
Roses make wonderful gifts, supposedly.
No, that's not what I meant. Why me? I haven't given you anything.
Consider it a symbol of my hope that we'll still be this close another year from now. If we are, then this is yours.
I don't follow her reasoning. I don't follow it at all, but the sight of the deep red rose almost melting into the dark night was perhaps the most wondrous thing I had ever seen in all my life. I had never understood why some people found flowers so enchanting. They were always just plants to me, but that one, that night was undeniably beautiful, majestic, and like a young child seeing a flower for the very first time, my hand automatically reached out for it. Not knowing the proper way to appreciate flowers, I didn't gently caress its petal or take in its fragrance, but snapped its stem.
Oh, you picked it? Are you going to bring it back to your room?
When I finally processed her question, that was when I realized I probably should have left it to grow in the garden. From the base of its stem where I had plucked it, a droplet succumbed to gravity and fell to the earth. You don't know what gravity is. With it came a delayed realization that I had ended a plant's life. The plant's life. But it was overpowered by childish possessiveness. But it was overpowered by childish possessiveness. This stunning flower was mine. Moonlight trickled down from the heavens, giving a gentle bluish tint to my hands, and her smile on her face, and the smile on her face.
You're going to need a vase then. Just give me a minute.
For the briefest moment, the moonlight must have played a trick on my mind. Fuck yeah, we all have those moments, man. Where you just can't think. You don't think. It's just better to not. And you just say or do something. Just follow your impulse. Just go for it. And for a moment we forget that we're beholden to any sort of social conditioning. We can just be our authentic, to our core selves.
Huh? Master?
What on earth am I doing? A look of bewilderment filled Giselle's face just inches from mine, which hammered in the reality of what I had just done. The thought had just crossed my mind that perhaps her black hair might prove a good backdrop for the rose, but it was supposed to remain a simple fancy.
What was that about?
An excuse. I need a good excuse. Drawing.
A drawing?
Right. I would like to preserve it on canvas.
What?
I mean, that a rose on its own does not make a very compelling picture, so I would like to include you as an accessory.
Wait, you want to draw me too?
Merely as a background element. You're slightly more interesting than a vase, that's all.
I've never seen you draw anything before.
I just never got the urge.
You know how?
Many years ago, my brother taught me.
I don't think I can handle being a model. I've never had a drawing done of me before. You would probably be better off with just the rose.
You gave it to me, didn't you? That means I'm free to do with it as I please.
I did.
I didn't mean to sound so rude. I had no real interest in drawing the rose. But I couldn't just take it back either.